Hey guys, and welcome back to Gabbin with Jessa. Today I am going to be doing another tier ranking video, and because in my last one I was doing all of the heroes from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in today's video I'm going to be tier ranking all of the villains from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, a lot of the villains, some of them aren't really great. They don't really add a lot to the story. They're just kind of there to be the evil guy. But I'm excited because I still do enjoy a lot of them, and I thought that, hey, I might as well tier rank them too. So I've got Mickey back here with me, I've got my laptop, and let's just get started. Okay, so here is the tier ranker for all of the Marvel Cinematic villains, and the tiers that we have for this one are going to be why bother? I just didn't understand the point of them. They didn't really add anything to the story. It probably could have been the exact same without them even being there. They were just, you know, average amount of evilness. You know, I thought they were pretty good. They added something to the story. They were a good counterpart to the hero of the particular movie. But, you know, they didn't really add too much for me. Got my morals confused. You know, sometimes you know that you could actually agree with them, being like, they actually have a good point, even though you're supposed to not be rooting for them. And a love-hate relationship. Those villains that even though you're supposed to hate them because they're villains and they're bad, you just can't hate. You just can't, like, you love them too. You just do. So let's get started here. We have Abomination. Now, this is one that probably gets forgotten about a lot because, you know, it's from the Incredible Hulk movie, which, you know, isn't really, like, seems like it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They only kind of, like, bring that in because Robert Downey Jr. does have his little cameo, and they do bring back Thunderbolt Ross for some of the future movies, but there's a completely different Hulk. Emil Blonsky, who was the guy that turns into Abomination, I don't know, he was just kind of confusing for me. I mean, Abomination is essentially just, like, a evil Hulk, but I'm gonna put him in because I'm not gonna pretend like he wasn't strong or powerful or anything like that. And he did have something against Bruce Banner and Hulk. He wanted to, you know, destroy him because of the super soldier serum, because he wanted to have that as well. So I'm gonna put him right there in Adrian Toomes from Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm gonna put him in Got My Morals Confused, because even though he was the bad guy, even though he was doing something wrong, he was trying to provide for his family, and he got wronged too by the Avengers back after the events of the first Avengers movie in New York City. And so he finds all these powerful space weapons, and, you know, he sells them. It's to provide for his family after he got fired for a wrong reason because Tony Stark just sent in his cleaning crew. And so I can totally understand why he would do something like that. And I just think that the big twist of him being Liz's father was perfect. Okay, his head's kind of cut off here, but here we have Aldrich Killian. Unpopular opinion, I loved Iron Man 3. It's my second favorite after the original Iron Man. I love the idea of extremis because I'm a biology person, and so I just thought that was so fascinating. It was just very sciencey to me, and, like, I just thought, I don't know, that's what grabbed me about the movie. So I'm going to put him in average amount of evilness because I do think that while he kind of, you know, he reacted because Tony Stark didn't meet him for that one meeting or whatever back on New Year's Eve, he kind of, you know, it reminds me a lot of The Incredibles, how, like, the hero kind of lets down, you know, the young lad, and then he uses, like, the thing that he created, like, against the hero. I don't know, that's just, like, I mean, Incredibles and Iron Man 3 are basically the exact same movie, but I do really enjoy Aldrich Killian. I thought that he was a good villain. I don't like the Mandarin twist that they had with him personally, but we'll get to the Mandarin. Alexander Pierce, he is from Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I thought that he was really good. I'm gonna put him an average amount of evilness behind Aldrich Killian. He was a really good actor, and I thought that he was a really great villain. I can't really think of anything that, like, makes him, like, stand out to me right now, but I do remember liking what he was doing. He was basically Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D., and he went to, you know, kill off Samuel L. Jackson, and he wanted to get rid of Captain America. Like, he had these grand ideas. He was the mastermind behind it all, and I don't know, I really like that. I like that twist of how S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra for gosh knows how long, and so I really liked it. I did like it. But then to go along, we have Armin Zola here, and I'm gonna put him right before Alexander Pierce on Average Amount of Evilness. We saw him in Captain America: The First Avenger and in the Winter Soldier movie. We realized that he kind of inputted his brain into like the SHIELD system when it was created. I believe that's how it went down. And he's been running SHIELD as Hydra, or Hydra within SHIELD, the entire time. And I just thought that was so cool. And I loved how he was like the Red Skull's little like right-hand man. And again, I gotta give him credit because he is a scientist and I love me some science. Darren Cross. This one's hard. Let's put him here for now, an Average Amount of Evilness, because I mean, he is basically Ant-Man, just evil. But that scene where he like shot the guy with the little gun thing that turned him into like a pile of goo, I don't know, that freaks me out literally every single time that I watch Ant-Man. And while he has good points and things like that, he didn't really blow me away as a villain. Again, he freaked me out, but he didn't like impress me because he was just kind of like Ant-Man, but bad. Dormammu! I mean, I know Dormammu's technically considered, like, a villain, but I don't really know, like, I just gotta watch Doctor Strange again. I'm gonna put him in because, I don't know, I thought it was cool. I loved how Doctor Strange defeated him by going into the time loop, and it, like, drove him crazy or whatever, but other than that, I mean, he was taking over the city that they were in, but maybe I just have to watch Doctor Strange again. I don't know. He didn't really stand out to me as a villain compared to one of the other villains from Doctor Strange, so I'm gonna put him in I'm not gonna pretend like he wasn't fun or anything like that, because I love that scene with Doctor Strange just being like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. So, you know, he's gonna go there. Ego, the Living Planet. I'm gonna put him in Got My Morals Confused. Another unpopular opinion, I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I don't know why, it just kind of stuck out to me, and I loved Kurt Russell as Ego. I thought that it was really cool, his backstory with Peter Quill and everything with his mom and how Peter ended up, you know, discovering it. And I don't know, I just thought, I don't know, I really liked that movie, and I really liked him as a villain. I thought he was really good. And, you know, that's just good. That's it. Yeah. Wasp. I'm gonna put her also in Got My Morals Confused. Now, I know Ant-Man and the Wasp was very confusing on, like, it kind of seemed like she wasn't the main villain, even though, like, I thought she was. She's definitely a villain. Like, they definitely play her out to be a villain. I think they wanted to play, like, Sonny Birch as, like, the more villain. I don't know. I was kind of confused with Sonny's character, which we will get to. Wasp, I loved because, again, she's not really out for any kind of evil task like Toombs was. He's just, like, he was just trying to provide for his family while she's just trying to fix herself and get better. And you can't fault someone for that. You can't, like, you just can't. And I loved her character. I really hope we get to see more of her because I thought she was so much fun, and I don't know, I loved her, and I love this actress so much, and it was so good. I loved her. I'm also just a big Ant-Man fan, so that's probably why, but still, I loved her. The Grand Master. I am going to put him, how do I like the Grand Master? I don't really know. I'm gonna put him here. An Average Amount of Evilness. It's nothing against Jeff Goldblum. I thought that he did a phenomenal job as the Grand Master. Pretty sure he was just playing himself the entire time. But I looked it up, and he is technically considered a villain. I don't really know why, but I do really like his character, so that's why he's going an Average Amount of Evilness. I don't really see the evil qualities of him, but for me personally and how I feel about him and how I like him, he's going there in Average Amount of Evilness. Hela. I'm gonna put Hela back here. Got My Morals Confused. Because she's the goddess of death, so obviously, like, that's what she's gonna do. And I loved her character. These rankings are more of just, like, how I feel about them in the movies and things like that. And I loved her character. Thor Ragnarok was just such an interesting movie because you have someone like the Grandmaster who's also considered a villain. You have Hela in there, and then you have just this wacky movie full of improv and just randomness going on. And it's so funny. But then you, like, I don't know, it's just, then you have someone like Hela who doesn't feel like she should belong in this movie just because of how funny everything is and how serious she is. But I don't know, it, like, brought everything together, and I really loved that. It was just so fascinating to me, and that's why I'm gonna put her there and Got My Morals Confused because I loved her. I thought she was a great villain, and even though I was confused at first because she seems so bad and this movie seems so funny where someone like the Grandmaster would probably be the main villain. I just thought it was it was just so good. I just loved her. Helmut Zemo, I'm gonna put him in average amount of evilness right around here because I think that he has a really good plan for breaking up the Avengers. Again, he kind of has, you know, a vendetta out against them because his family was in Sokovia and they ended up getting killed because of something that, you know, Iron Man and the Hulk created, and then they had to destroy, and then unfortunately a lot of people did lose their lives, and now he wants to try to just like break them apart from the inside. But I think that his plan is like really complex, and I wasn't really focused on him as a character really, as like the villain, because I was more interested in the Team Cap versus Team Tony battles within them that was going on, and I know that that was basically happening because of what Zemo was doing, but again, I can't put him in Got My Morals Confused because during that movie, I didn't really care about him as much as I would have liked to. Towards the end, I did when he had that heart-to-heart with Black Panther, but it just, I don't know, it was just more of like, you know, he's there, he puts things in action, and that's all we can ask for him. Justin Hammer, I'm gonna put him right at the beginning of because Iron Man 2 was just such a wacky movie, and not for the same reason Thor Ragnarok was. You know, I mean, he was there, he had a plan, he got in contact with the other villain that in this movie, he's just there. He's just there to me. He's just there to me. Okay, I don't really know how to say his name. It's like Calcielus. He's the other guy from Doctor Strange, and because I don't even know how to pronounce his name, I'm gonna put him in Why Bother, but right here before Dormammu. Again, I just think I have to watch Doctor Strange again. I was just so tripped out during like that entire movie that I think it kind of threw me off of like who the bad guy was and stuff. But he was the one who brought in Dormammu, I believe, to take over the world. Again, I was just more fascinated in the magic behind Doctor Strange. I think that's why I really like Doctor Strange. I like who he was and who he becomes, and I love that magic plays a role in that just because I love magic in general. And so I wasn't really focused on the villains. I didn't really care for them, I guess you could say. So he's gonna go there. Oh, Killmonger. Of course you're gonna go in love-hate relationship because not only was he played by Michael B. Jordan, and Michael B. Jordan did a fantastic job, but he changes the hero's mind. Granted, him as the gold Black Panther, like, meh, whatever. In that sense, he was just kind of like Black Panther, but evil. But in every other sense, as Killmonger, not as, like I said, the gold Black Panther one, he has a point and he wants to drive it home. He just wants people to make change. But he goes and he changes T'Challa's mind. He realizes that all the ancestors keeping everything private from the world was wrong, and that's not how they should go about that. And so he does change the hero's mind. Like, this is what he believes, and this is what his heart is telling him is the best thing to do. Even though, you know, it's not completely thought out well, in a way, it's still really good. So he's gonna go there. Laufey. Oh, yes, that's how you pronounce his name. The Frost Giant. He's from Thor. Clearly, I don't really remember much about him, so he's gonna go in Why Bother. I mean, I don't really have much else to say. He was in Thor, and he's related to Loki, because Loki's technically a Frost Giant, but I really can't tell you what else he did, so. Loki, of course, we're gonna put him in love-hate relationship. Now, you may ask, Jessa, he was in the heroes one. Why are you putting him in the villains one? Well, you know, he was a villain during, you know, the Thor movie, Thor 2 kind of, definitely during Avengers, and I know there's a lot of people that could have been put on both lists, but I've seen Loki put on both lists the most, so he's gonna go there, but of course he's gonna go at the top, because out of all these villains, you gotta love Loki. Malekith, another Thor villain that I don't really remember, but he's gonna go before Laufey, because I didn't hate Thor the Dark World. I thought it was really fascinating. We got to see, you know, more of the Infinity Stones, which I really enjoy. We see them being explained more, but again, I can't really tell you much of what he did. He did do the summoning thing of bringing, you know, all the realms together, and then he was gonna, you know, I think make the world dark or something like that. I don't know, there were like circles in the sky. Yeah, that was about it. Didn't really add much or anything to it. So, Mysterio. Oh gosh, this is hard. I'm gonna go got my morals confused, because I loved Jake Gyllenhaal in this role. I thought he was fantastic. And during the first half of the movie, I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, Mysterio is a bad guy. Like, where's this coming? And then he had a really good twist. I thought that the fact that he used to work for Stark, and that all his little, like, you know, allies, you know, that also worked for Stark, you know, were kind of against him, and they're coming back, and now that he has passed away, they want to, you know, like they want to get revenge on him. And even though he's no longer here and he can't, like, see that revenge, just doing it after his death, I think is really fun. And I loved Spider-Man Far From Home. I thought it was really good, and I loved him as a character. And I think the plot twist, like, ending that he had during one of the post-credit scenes, I thought that was really good. And I don't know, I just really liked it. Maybe I just really like Jake Gyllenhaal too, but I really liked it. Obadiah Stane. Let's put him definitely an average amount of evilness, but let's go... Let's go here. Because he was the very first villain of the MCU. You gotta give him credit for that. I thought Jeff Bridges did an amazing job in this role. He kind of starts the trend of, oh, he's like the hero, but bad. He has the same powers, but as the hero, he just uses them in a bad way. You know, that kind of Marvel trope. He was the very first one. He did introduce us to the world that would be the Marvel Cinematic Universe of villains. And I don't know, I think he's an enjoyable character. I think that he's always been out for Tony Stark is really fun. I think that was a fun twist to everything. And yeah, I just like him. The Red Skull. I'm gonna put him here. An average amount of evilness. Again, I loved Red Skull as a character. I think that being the opposite of Captain America, being like the German Nazi version of Captain America, was a lot of fun. I liked how having Red Skull showed us that with Dr. Erskine's formula, his serum of the super soldier serum, it was used on both Captain America and on Red Skull, but because Red Skull didn't have the best morals, because he didn't have the best just personal growth, value, soul, or whatever, that it turned him evil, essentially, or didn't turn out the correct way that it was supposed to. And I really like that. I really like that it can show people that it really does matter. You don't have to be the strongest, the biggest. It doesn't matter. It does matter about who you are on the inside. And I think that Red Skull is a great representation of having the same thing as the good guy, but because of your morals and what you believe in, it doesn't always turn out the best way for you. And so I'm going to put him there. And I think I said this in my previous video too, that the first Captain America movie just always makes me cry, and I have no idea why. So I gotta put him there too for, you know, just the emotions that I always feel during that movie for some reason. Ronan the Accuser. I think he was the villain in Guardians 1. Yes, because I know he does come up in Captain Marvel again, but he doesn't really do anything. I can't really remember what he does much in Guardians 1 anyway, so I'm gonna put him in right at the front. Sonny Birch. Oh, Sonny, you're going here because, like I kind of talked about when I was talking about Ghost. Oh, I think I called her the Wasp earlier. Well, her name is Ghost, not Wasp, so my bad. So like I was talking about with Ghost earlier, she was technically like the main, like, I think she was supposed to be the main villain, but like, I've heard things that Sonny was supposed to be the main villain, technically, and I just didn't really get it. Like, they could have left out his whole thing of trying to steal the lab, and it would have made so much more sense to me. Okay, the Supreme Intelligence. Again, I didn't really connect with the Captain Marvel movie as much as I would have liked to. I haven't seen it that many times, probably like twice, I want to say. I just don't really understand who the Supreme Intelligence is or why she's technically the bad guy. Or they are technically the bad guy. So I'm gonna put her at the back of because honestly, I just can't really remember much of anything evil-wise from that movie. I did enjoy, you know, I enjoyed the Skrulls that were in there. I enjoyed young Nick Fury. I enjoyed all the 90s references. But other than that, when it comes to like the good versus bad part, I really can't tell you like anything about the Supreme Intelligence. I mean, I know that Annette Bening is technically like the old flight captain of Captain Marvel when she was in the Air Force, but I know that Annette Bening isn't technically, you know, the Supreme Intelligence. Like, the Supreme Intelligence is just kind of like recreating Annette Bening for that, so again, I really can't tell you much of anything. Thanos. Of course, Thanos. I'm putting Thanos at the very front. Nope, move Killmonger. Because I love Thanos. I think that he has a good idea of, you know, wanting to provide more resources for everyone and just leveling the playing field. It doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor or if you're successful, not. It doesn't matter. He wanted to eliminate half the population so that way the other half can thrive and survive. And like, it's a good idea. It's not coming from the best of places, but he was really just thinking about what happened to his home planet and how, unfortunately, genocide seemed to be the answer to make everyone thrive again, which it's never the answer, obviously. But, you know, he's a great villain. He's a great villain. The Mandarin. I'm gonna put him here at the back of because I didn't read the comics before I saw these movies, so I didn't know that the Mandarin, like who the Mandarin was or what he was supposed to be. So I thought the twist of how he was an actor, I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny when I first saw it. And I know that's like completely against everything of Iron Man fans, like they did his character so wrong. So that's why I'm throwing him back in the category. But I'd be lying if I said that that twist didn't make me laugh. So that's why he's in and not why bother. Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. I'm going to put him in the back of Average Amount of Evilness because he is the father of the first Hulk love interest, whose name is slipping my mind right now. Is her name Betty? I think it's Betty. He has that out against the Hulk, and then he comes back in Civil War because he's like, yo, y'all gotta be controlled. You can't just go running around destroying, you know, major cities across the world. You have to be controlled. And if you're not, well, then you can't, like, be the Avengers anymore. So he's coming in for that. Actually, I'm gonna throw him at the beginning of because he doesn't really, like, add too much more other than to come in and be the government guy that wants to shut everyone down and control everyone. So he's actually going to go there. However, Ultron, I will move to where I had him in Average Amount of Evilness because I love that he was created by Tony and Bruce. I think that adds a fun part to it. Again, I was a huge fan of Age of Ultron, which I know is not a popular opinion. And again, I think he had a kind of good idea, you know. Unfortunately, wiping out the entire human race isn't necessarily like a good idea, but like he did it because he saw that, you know, there were dangers in the world and humans brought dangers to the world, and so he wanted to create a better race, which again, I mean, humans aren't the best, so can't really fault him there. It's, you know, it's not coming from the best of places. It's not the answer. There's many other ways that this issue can be solved. But I did enjoy his character. I did like having him on screen. I liked his cockiness, and you know, he kind of gets from Tony Stark, so that's why he's gonna go there. Ulysses Klaue. He was also in Age of Ultron. He was first introduced because he was stealing the vibranium from Wakanda, and then he shows up again in Black Panther, but then Killmonger kills him off, so I don't really understand him, but I'll put him behind Ultron in Average Amount of Evilness. Because, I mean, you know, he's a thief. He just goes and steals vibranium just to sell it on the black market. And he does help with Killmonger, you know, trying to get to Wakanda. But then as soon as, you know, he gets there, so, you know, he's going to go there. Whiplash. I am so disappointed in what they did with Whiplash. I thought they could have done a lot more. I thought it could have been done a lot better. They didn't really do anything with him. But I think if we just focused on Whiplash and we didn't focus on Justin Hammer for Iron Man 2, I thought that it could have been really good. I thought that there was just so many different plot lines in Iron Man 2 that it didn't really make sense to me. And so I'm going to put him at the beginning of because I want to believe in his character and I want to believe that they could have done so much better with him. And I did enjoy some of his background against the Starks as well. And so I really was... It just makes me so sad. And Yon-Rogg, I'm going to put him again right around the Supreme Intelligence because I know he was supposed to be helping out Captain Marvel, you know, controlling her emotions and doing everything, but, you know, then he, like, turns on her because of reasons I can't remember. Oh, because she was siding with the Skrulls, I'm pretty sure, yeah. And so, I don't know, he was just kind of there just to be like, no, control your emotions, woman. And it's just like, whatever. So he's gonna go there. So yeah, there is my tier ranking list of all of the villains. I know that there are some other characters that could have been considered villains, like maybe Nebula or Yondu, but I just felt like that I didn't really have much to add with them. I did want to add Loki on this list though, just because he is the person that I see the most on both villain and hero lists, so I couldn't leave him out of just one or the other. I had to put him on both, so that's why he is there. So this is the final result of my ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe villains. I will leave this link down below, so that way if you want to do your own ranking, you can, and let me know what you guys put, where you would put everyone. You can let me know all that in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, keep on gabbing.